We are going to find the percent composition of each of the elements in copper bromide. I have the formula up here, CuBr2, and then to the side we have our periodic table, which gives us the mass of copper and bromine. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to find the molar mass of each of the parts. So let's start with copper. We have copper, and in that case there is one copper, so if there's no subscript we know that that's an implied 1. So in this case our copper, we get this from the periodic table right here, 63.546. And then we're going to do our bromine. Now we see that we have a subscript of 2 here. That means we have 2 bromines. So we're going to take 2 times, and then we're going to go to our periodic table, and we get 79.904. 79.904. So then in this case, we need to do a little bit of math to figure out the mass of bromine. So we would take our calculators and we would put in 2 times 79.904, and we get 159.808. So what we have here is we have our mass of our copper, and then we have our mass of our 2 bromines together, which is 159.808. Then we're going to calculate the mass of the copper bromide together. So in this case, we can take our 63.546 plus our 159.808. And what we get here is 223.354. Now, to get the percent composition of each of these, we want the percent composition copper, the percent composition of bromine. So we'll start with copper. We take the part divided by the whole times 100 in order to get our percent composition. So in this case, we would take the part, which is 63.546 grams, divided by 223.354 grams, because this is the whole, this is copper bromide's mass. And then, I'm going to put this in parentheses, we times this by 100 because we want the percent composition. So in this case, when we put this into our calculator, we want to be careful when we're doing this. In this case, 63.546 divided by 223.354 times 100, and we would get 28.45%. We want to be careful when we're putting this into our calculator. With that times 100, you can do it a couple of ways. We've talked about a couple in class. Just be careful that you're multiplying 63.546 divided by 223.354 and then multiplying it by 100 or using your parentheses. Now for the bromine, remember there's 2 bromines here, and so we want the percent composition of the bromine in the copper bromide. So our bromine that we're going to use is this 159.808. The reason for this is because there's 2 bromines. So we want the whole of the bromine, and then we put it over the whole copper bromide mass, which is 223.354 grams. And again, we're using these parentheses just to make sure that we're multiplying this 100 by the correct thing. And so when we put this into our calculator, we get 71.55%. So in this case, copper bromide is 28.45% copper, and it's 71.55% bromine. And remember, we can always do a little check at the end. We take 28.45 plus 71.55, and it should add up to 100 if we've done it correctly, and it does. So in this case, this would be the percent composition of each of the elements for copper bromide.